Here we go. So, first of all, let's go ahead and put the Common Core up. Algebra, and it is on polynomials, and number 2, and it basically says know and apply the remainder theorem.
Yeah, we apologize that we were not able to get the bell schedule corrected for you. We are still in class.
Yes.
The next bell that rings, however, at 1:50 will be the end of period 3.
There we go.
Oh, it's not 12:55.
No, it's going to be, we're out of here at 1:55. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Now, example 1, we're going to come back to at the end. So we're going to skip example 1. Because example 1 is actually the most difficult, and example 2 is pretty easy. So there's a thing called synthetic division. It works with polynomials, but it only works if it's x plus or minus a number. Synthetic division only works if it's x plus or minus a number. That's it, okay? And in this case, if you have x plus or minus some value, you can use synthetic division. So synthetic division, we're going to use this whole concept knowing full well we're going to remove the x's. The x's are going to be gone. When I rewrite it, all the x's are gone, but we need to remember the x's are still there, but they're invisible, okay? So we're all done, we want to put the x's back, okay? So synthetic division, when I do synthetic division, I do a little upside down division symbol, okay? Upside down because we're not doing normal division, we do a synthetic division, okay? And if you've seen this before, a lot of you have, we did this last semester, okay? And inside the division, I want to put the coefficients. Now I got to be careful, in example 2, we're missing a term, okay? We're missing our x term. So we're going to make sure we put a placer in there for it. We have to put everything in there, so I'm going to go 2 for the cubed, negative 7 for the x squared. I'll put a 0 in for the x, and I'll go 5, okay? So I just put the coefficients in, knowing full well that the x's are there, but the x's are invisible, okay? Everybody got that? Put the division line underneath it like that. And I like to put a little box right here because that's where my remainder goes, okay? How am I doing so far? So all I do is just put the numbers. Now, this x minus 3, we're going to divide by its opposite. See, if we say x minus 3 equals 0, we'd have x equals 3. So we want to divide by its opposite. Here is why we're going to divide by its opposite. We've now changed its sign, so we don't have to subtract anymore. We're going to add. I just changed its sign. I made it negative, or I made it its opposite. So instead of subtracting, we've already made it its opposite. So we add. That's why we do it. It makes it easier. So we'll put the 3 out in front of here. Now I know darn well that there are x's in there, and the x's are in the problem. They're invisible, okay? So don't worry about the x, okay? Now, the first step is the only one that's different. Step 1, slide the first term straight down, okay? Bring down the 2, okay? Bring the 2 straight on down, okay? Okay, just bring it straight on down. Now, multiply. We're going to multiply 2 times 3 is going to be a 6, right? And then add. I know in division we subtract, but in this case we add because we changed its sign, so in a sense we are subtracting. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Since I changed its sign, we really are subtracting, but we're adding its opposite, which is subtraction, okay? So add, I get a negative 1, right? Multiply. So I'm going to multiply up here. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Put that in there, negative 3. And I add. 0 minus 3 is a negative 3. Okay. And then I multiply. Negative 3 times 3 is a negative 9. So put your negative 9 here. Same thing. We're going to add, and I get a negative 4. Okay, now, before we stop, we really divided with x's, didn't we? And I really divided 2x cubed by an x, so the answer has to be 1 less power. We divided all of this by an x, so the answer has to be 1 less power. So we start with a cube, so my answer, you ready, is simply this. It's as easy as 2x squared. 1 less power. 1 less power, okay? Answer 1 less degree, okay? It's my answer. So 2x squared minus a 1x minus 3. Now we got a remainder, right? Now, when we did remainders, when we did fractions, when we were kids, we eventually stopped putting the R because that was for children, right? And what do we do if I divided, for example, 5 into 41? It'd go 8, right? And what'd you do with the remaining 1? It would be 8 and 1/5, right? Remember that? Be 8 and 1/5, so we do the same thing. We're going to go plus a negative 4 over. We're going to go negative 4, take this, take my remainder, and put it over what we divided by, x minus 3. Okay. Thumbs up? Okay, we did this last semester, right? And it was pretty easy, okay? Okay, ready to turn the page? Okay. Okay. Okay, example 3. So, example 3, let's do it again. So, synthetic division. Let's set up our little upside down, right? We'll go 3, 5, negative 4, 0, because there's no x squared term, 7, and 3. Everybody okay with the 0x squared term, right? We're missing a term. Don't forget your 0. We're going to put the negative 2 out here because we take the opposite of that, right? Take the opposite. It says plus 2, we just use the negative 2, okay? Okay. A little remainder box goes right there. So, step 1. What's the first step? Bring down 3. Bring down 3. Bring that down. That's the first step. Bring down 3. Multiply. 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. Add. 5 and negative 6 makes a negative 1. Multiply, and I get a 2. I add. Negative 4 and 2 makes a negative 2. Multiply. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. I'm going to make sure I add. 0 and 4 is a 4. 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8. I add them and I get negative 1. 1 times negative 2 is a 2. And I end up with a 5. Okay? Now in this case, the question was find the remainder. Okay? So I don't really care about anything else. I know the remainder. What's the remainder? 5. Okay? Great. Now there's a thing called synthetic substitution. Okay? There's a thing called synthetic substitution that's actually even faster. So synthetic substitution says this. Synthetic substitution. If I plugged in P of negative 2, just plugged it in, P of negative 2, the answer is 5. I'm going to prove it to you. Synthetic, isn't that crazy? Synthetic substitution will get you the remainder every single time. So if you plugged in the negative 2, that's what I divided by, right? You could avoid, if all you want the remainders, you can avoid all of this work, plugging in negative 2, and it'll go straight to your remainder. So synthetic substitution will get the remainder. So let's try it. Let's plug in negative 2. So I would go, let's see if Mr. Davies is lying to you or for real. Okay, 3 times negative 2 to the 5th power plus 5 times negative 2 to the 4th power minus 4 times negative 2 cubed plus 7 times negative 2 plus 3. And I'm going to use my calculator because that's a lot, huh? All right, on, clear, clear, clear. So I'm just going to plug it in. I'm going to go, all right. I'll go 3 times negative 2 to the 5th power plus 5 times negative 2 to the 4th power. Subtract 4 times negative 2 to the 3rd power plus 2 times negative 2 plus 3. And I better get 5. 15. Uh-oh. Did I make a mistake somewhere? I did. We made a mistake somewhere because it should be 5 minus 4 cubed plus, oh, I didn't put a 7 there. I did make a mistake. Let me try it again. That should be a 7, shouldn't that? Let's try again. I didn't lie. I just make mistakes sometimes. Let's try it again. I skipped a term. plus 5 times negative 2 to the 4th. Make sure I don't goof up again. Negative 2 to the 3rd plus 7. See, that looked like a 2 to me. That's a 7. Plus 7 times negative 2 plus 3. There we go. There's my 5. You see my 5? So, you're going to get a quiz question coming up next Friday, and it's going to say find the remainder. You can do it in one of two ways. You can either do the whole synthetic division thing and get the remainder. That'll work. Or you can just use synthetic substitution, plug in and get the remainder. Okay? All right, now, so is x minus 1 a factor of this? Two ways to do it. We could do synthetic division. We could divide it out and see if we get a remainder of 0, okay? Or we could plug it in. If we plug it in, we get an answer of 0. It is. So I think the easiest way is just to plug it in, right? So let's take p of 1, which would be a 1 cubed minus 7 times a 1 plus a 6, right? Which is 1 minus 7 plus 6, which is 0. So x minus 1 is a factor. So if the remainder is 0, it goes in evenly, which means it's got to be a factor, right? So yes, that means that x minus 1 times something should equal that, right? Right?
So does that mean you don't have to put in a 0 if you're missing a, like if you're missing?
It depends on the question. Really good. So Elijah, if I'm only asking for the remainder, then just plug it in. Now, if I do want you to divide and tell me what the answer is, just like regular division, then you've got to do it, right? Right. So it's kind of like this problem here, Elijah. If I say, tell me what the remainder is, you'd say the remainder is 1. If I want the answer, you'd say it's 8 1/5. It depends on the question. Okay. In this case, I just wanted the remainder. So instead of having to do all the division, come up with the remainder, so I'll just plug it in, synthetic substitution, and I get the remainder. Okay. So now, is it a factor? Well, we say it is, so let's factor p of x. So I've got this x cubed minus 7x plus 6, and it should factor, right? It should. So what I ought to do is go back, and if I use synthetic division, I can get it to the other thing, because again, x minus 1 times something has to equal the x cubed minus 7x plus 6. So let's actually do the synthetic division and find out what would be the answer. Okay, so now I'm going to do the division. 1 into, I'll go 1, 0, negative 7, 6. I know this is going to be a 0. I do. I know it's going to be a 0, but I'll put it there anyway. It's got to be 0. It has to be 0. Okay, so let's do our synthetic division. Okay, comes down, get a 1, right? 1 times 1 is 1. Add them. 0 plus 1 is 1. Multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them and I get a negative 6. Multiply and I get a negative 6, negative 0. So, the answer to this should be a 1x squared plus a 1x minus 6, right? Times x minus 1. This does equal our x cubed minus 7x plus 6, all right? So it's factored, right? I think it could be factored more. I think it could be factored more. This is my x cubed minus 7x plus 6 has been factored into x plus 3, x minus 2, x minus 1. And the way I needed to do it was I needed to go ahead and use some synthetic division to get it down further to something that I can actually factor. Okay? All right. So, problem 1. How much time do we have? Let's go problem 1 on Monday, okay? I don't have enough time for problem 1, okay? Yeah, we'll come back.